So it is officially time to begin.
Woo-hoo.
And I would first like to welcome everyone to Lending Our Shared Stories. I see all of your beautiful smiling faces. I am so delighted that you all are here. L.O.S.S, Lending Our Shared Stories. We are a grief support nonprofit organization where we turn the light on for grief support. I'm here tonight for our first Zoom beginning 2024, and I'm so very excited to have each and every one of you all join. I pray that, even if no one else comes, your presence is enough. Sometimes you wait for other people to come on board. No, you all matter. You're important, and I value your time. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for being a part of our first Zoom, and I want you to give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. Now, the hardest part will be I need you to mute your phones. I know you don't like it, but we need to mute it. But I want to thank everyone who is here today in representation. L.O.S.S began in 2019 after the passing of my husband, Robert, and I started this grief support organization as a way of healing, not knowing what I was doing, because grief is like, who knows what they're doing. It's like a wave. You can be all over the place, which brings me to the wonderful growth that this organization has had. We've met so many people near and yet far, and we have been a blessing as they have blessed us with the sharing of stories. How does a shared story help? Well, a shared story can help uplift you and to encourage you, and that's why we are here. We're here to let each and every one of you know that you are not alone. I want you to say that to yourself. I am not alone. Yay! All right, so our first guest for 2024 is a dear friend of mine. This woman, she's all over the world because she's on a global level through her Instagram, her social media. I'm proud to call her my friend. The reason why I invited Christina on to be our first guest is because after my husband passed, I was not able to answer text messages or place phone calls. I was such in a rut that I couldn't get out of it. And so I would go find myself on Instagram, where I met this woman, and she was posting everything about Rejeweled. I said, Lord, if you can't reach me, this woman is reaching me. I was so encouraged by her Instagram post during that time. It was the only thing. So at 2 a.m, I could go and read something that was encouraging at 3:30 a.m. And she is widowed as well, and she's going to share her story. But she has a ministry where she donates refurbished jewelry all over the world. She takes that jewelry and turns it into a royal piece, and she sends it out to bless women, men, whoever needs the jewelry. She's blessed L.O.S.S countless times through our Widow's Breakfast to be a blessing to those through her beautiful ministry. So at this time, I would like to welcome my dear friend, Christina Scherer, who is with us today, and she's going to be our speaker. Let's clap it up for Miss Christina.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Awesome. Are we talking to all widows tonight?
No, not all, okay. But you're here.
Okay. But we've all suffered loss. Yes. I think it's important to say yes. Yes, we have suffered loss, because it's dang, man, if you're talking to people that don't know what you're talking about, it's awful, really. You know what I mean, that's how Treva and I met, was through social media. And I just started posting about the loss of my husband because I was so shocked over it. But I also know God, you know what I mean? So it wasn't all sad. There was also very much a lot of hope at the end of it. Recently I had somebody tell me, you have to stop talking about that. And I was like, and you have to mind your business. Come on, man, mind your
all right.
Come on, man. I'm telling you, because you know what? If you have time to be upset about my business, you need to probably go get busy with yours, right? Because it's like a full-time job, this chick over here, right? I got things to do. That's the way I feel about it, and social media is so wonderful. I'm talking to you guys from Arizona. You know what I mean? How crazy is that? And so I just decided I was going to start sharing my story. And, there's a lot of people that I'm sure have rejected me, and I'm sure have, what do you call that? Unfriended or, snooze. Now you can snooze. snooze that person for 30 days. I do that all the time. I'm like, girl, you got to pull them girls up. You got to not wear that shirt that's so low. What are you doing? And I'll snooze that person because I can't stand to look at women who show off their bodies. It's just weird. So anyways, social media is good that way, right? If we don't want to hear about it, we just move on. But yeah, I just started sharing my story. I've actually been widowed twice. I was widowed at 29 with 3 small children, living in the city of Los Angeles, feeding the poor. And so we were poor. And you know, my husband died at 47 years old, very young. Went to hospital on a Friday night and died Sunday morning, just like that. And so I was standing there with 3 small babies. The oldest was 5. And man, talk about rough. You know what I mean? Like, how do you your comeback is going to be slow in coming there. You know what I mean? It's going to take a minute to just find out who you are and find out who God is, because suddenly now the one that I trusted the most has hurt me the most. I mean, let's just be real for seconds. You know what I mean? And I was so mad at God, I was spitting nails, man. Spitting nails, just like serving him, you know, dying to self, doing all these great things. And within 2 days, I'm literally standing there as a widow with no money and no prospects and 3 small children. So yeah, we all have a story. That's the beautiful thing. You know what I mean? You know, there's a rise in people committing suicide right now. Why do you think that is? You know why it is? Because you're putting a lid, come on your story, your suffering, your history, your testimony, and you're stuffing it down there. It's gonna get the better of you. So I think if we just eke it out here and there when we go to the grocery store and, you know, see the same worker once a week. I know my workers in my little area, and I'll just, you know, talk to them and share my story. It's quick, it's fast, but I figure, you know what? I just want to spread hope wherever I go. So hopefully that's what's happening.
Yes. I love it. I love it. So talk about that time. You know, I talk about, you know, I found inspiration in like social media, of course, God first. And, you know, we all have to, you know, it's like it's a walk that we have to walk, whether it's loss of a spouse, a child, a parent, a friend. So what were some of the things that you reached for that brought you comfort during that time, Christina?
Well, when I was first widowed, I was 29 years old, right? And every widow I knew, honey, was in their 60s and up and all gray haired, retired. I was none of that. So it was super duper hard. And social media was not in the picture at the time. So it was a lot harder, to be honest. It was. So what you're doing, Treva, high five 100%, because you're allowing people to be real and to share their stories. Because back then, you know, you just endured. I mean, I remember I went to a women's retreat, you know, because I did stay in church and I did stay in fellowship and I stayed in my relationships. But I remember I went to church one time. It was a women's retreat. I did not want to go. I got like kidnapped by my friends. They knew they had to kidnap me or I wasn't going. And this one stranger came up to me and she said, why do you hate God? And I was like,
Wow.
like God just pulled those covers. Like, today's the day, Christina. I've been with you. I've never abandoned you, forsaken you, but we're going to do some business here. And that whole weekend I spent on my face, just crying out to God, you know, to save me from my own bitterness. Cause I remember when I was seeing my sister-in-law off, you know, on the plane. She's flying back to Texas, and I'll never forget it. We didn't even have a relationship. She said, Christina, whatever you do, don't get bitter. And I saw the glory of God from beginning to end. Come on, in that funeral. People got saved. I mean, my husband worked in a high rise with wealthy people, and he's a humble man. He fixed toilets for a living. He was a maintenance dude, but he would go in their apartments and share Jesus with them. And they all came to his funeral. And I mean, my mind was blown, you know what I mean? But I just remember, you know, thinking, I'm going to have to figure this out. I'm going to have to figure this out. Like, do I want to go on? Do I want to live? Because you're so ingrained in that person that where they are is where you want to be, right? Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I just buried my parents in a couple of years, span, and I still can't wrap my head around the fact that I can't call my mother, or I can't call my dad, and or my best friend, my husband, or my mentor, she's gone too, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna do, And so
Mm-hmm.
God just invites us in, right, um to always talk with him, because if we're not, we have to go up this way with our disappointments, because if we try to do it this way, right, on planet Earth, I couldn't help Treva. The only thing I could do for with Treva is listen. I remember when my pastor told me, I called her, I was desperate, I was losing my mind when my second husband passed, which was 10 years ago. You think you get some schooling. You don't get schooling. You don't get a free pass. Like, oh, you know. And I told my pastor, I said, I'm not going to make it. She said, yes, you can. And I said, well, I don't want to.
Wow.
I was clear. I mean, I shocked myself that came out of my mouth, but I was very honest about it. I said, well, I don't, and there was a cuss word. I won't say it on Zoom, but I just said, I don't blank, blank want to. I did not want to live. And that's how devastating loss can be. And I think people who stuff that and don't get it out become sick. They become.
I like what you said, for sake of time, guys, because I didn't want to have we weren't going to have a very long meeting tonight, but the importance is that when you stuff it in, and I think that's the key right there. Like, if you guys are stuffing it in, don't stuff it in. Find someone, a friend, a counselor, a stranger, find someone. I was flying out here to Colorado, and I'm a little fearful of flying, just to be honest. And I always reach for a hand, usually my daughter's, but she wasn't traveling with me. So God had a stranger. He was placed on that aircraft. And when the plane got a little turbulent, he said, would you like me to hold your hand? This just happened. Didn't know me. I said, what? I knew God was with me. He grabbed my hand. Matter of fact, he sat right beside me. That's how good God is. And when we're transparent with God, he already, and Christina, I thank you so much, because this woman and all of you all, I've heard your stories. Christina, you are very transparent. I mean, and how you are loving enough to share your story with the world. All of us have a story. And so don't hold it in. If you don't remember anything else tonight, don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. And so, for the sake of time, I think for the next L.O.S.S meeting, we'll probably purchase some time, because I would like more time, but I wanted to just see how the first one went. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We just wanted to see, and you guys have, anybody want to just ask? We've got like 5 minutes on the clock. Anybody have one question for Christina? All right, they're there. I know they're there. Well, I think somebody. Okay.
Oh, Tammy, you go first.
Oh, I would just like to thank you for sharing your story, because what I've learned, I had a traumatic grief. So there's different types of grief. There's different kinds of grief. And what I've learned is there's different stages, there's different steps, and you really never get over it. You just learn to deal with it, because it was still like, even today I was doing something and tears welled up in my eyes. So, and it's been like 4 years. So I can imagine, losing two. But yeah, I just thank you for sharing the story, because it is important to just, you got to hold on to God's hand for sure. And even it's okay to be angry at him, because sometimes we don't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing in our lives. But I have learned, I've been through several deaths. It's like, and he has brought me to a place now and just showed me I do have a future, even though I'm a widow, I do have a purpose. I do have a future, and he's not here to share it with me. Like I said, I want to be where they're at. Why didn't I get to go? I want to go, and he should have stayed. But, so I'm thank you for sharing that, because we want to be where they're at, because we want to be in communication with them. And that's exactly what I had to go through too. So I appreciate your insight, and I appreciate what you said about that. So, but we do have a future. We do have a hope. It's not over till he says it's over.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Courtney. Miss Courtney. Thank you, Tammy.
I just wanted to share more so a comment. I just appreciated like your light within your story. You can genuinely feel that you are someone who is meant to tap in different people's hearts and share your story, you know, whether that be for 5 minutes or 5 hours. I feel like you were meant to do it because I genuinely like felt warm when you're talking about something so sad and, you know, devastating, but you can tell like you just have this beam, and I just appreciate it. Yeah, I can tell you have a nice sense of humor, and, you know, a lot of the things that we go through sometimes, it just shapes the person that we're supposed to be. And so you know, just thank you. That's all I really want to say.
Yeah, that's sweet. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I do realize, and I have to remind myself, you know, we're all different, right? Not everybody's going to go and talk to people. That's the truth, right? And really, I love talking. So I was always told to be quiet, right? Teacher was moving me out. Never did any good, honey. I just continued.
Oh my goodness.
Now I know why, right? Because God is, but we're also different. And, you know, we all have gifts and opportunities to just, wherever we go, just to, you know, I've seen a lot of widows and a lot of people suffer a lot and they stop living. They just make a conscious decision. I'm not leaving the house. I'm never putting on makeup. I probably don't wear a bra, whatever. You know what I mean? I force myself. Sometimes, girl, I'm like, today we ain't wearing a bra. We're just going to risk it. Like, who's looking? You know what I'm saying? But
good for you.
yeah, you know, sometimes I don't want to get up and go out. I mean, even the Zoom thing, I was like, oh, Lord, I don't want to do a Zoom. What am I going to say? You know, that hasn't already been said. But I'm glad I did, you guys. And I wish we could all get together. That would be so fun and cool. And I know Treva's got big plans. And she went to school, which I think is like over the top. I can't even wrap my head around that. You know, genius woman. And yeah, girl, you go for it. Whatever. I don't even know.
High honors to Treva.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations.
High honors
Treva.
to you.
Congratulations.
High honors to you too.
She's a graduate. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me
You're
take
an
that in.
Instagram
Thank
hero.
you.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to learn how to just take it in. And I appreciate the love. I feel it. I thank you all. Now let's grow this organization. When we first started out, we had rapid growth. People were coming in, but we helped a lot of people. And so sometimes people say, well, I've shared my story. And we, you know, hey, people move on. That's a great thing. But it's time now to open up our gates and let more people come in. Tell people, hey, there's an organization. If you need to talk about your loss, if you need to heal, L.O.S.S is the organization for you. It's not the organization for everyone. And I thank you all. Everyone that who's on here, all are not widows. I can name several of you tonight. You're not widows, but the fact that you're here, empathetic listening, compassion, kindness, man, it means the world. And somebody who's going through something that could be quite different, I'm sure that this testimony has empowered them tonight to let them know that I can run on. It's so good to see Teresa on here and Tammy here. I'm gonna call out your names: Courtney, Sally, Sharice from Detroit, Tara, a blessing, Josiah, my son. I just want to thank y'all so much. We're gonna do this in 2 weeks. How many of you guys are gonna bring a friend when we come back?
I'm going to try. I've invited some people, but I don't know if they can quite figure out
we're
how
gonna
to get
have a
on.
contest. So. I'm gonna do a contest. Whoever invites and brings on the most people, I got you covered. All right. So we got something special for you because, you know, Jesus wants us to be disciples and to go out and show love. And that's what we want to do. So if you would like to watch the replay, it will be on our website. And we'll also post this live. So y'all look pretty because you're going to be on live. You're going to be on Facebook and Instagram, this video. Everybody wave because y'all looking cute.
So can we share this video with those people that weren't here tonight?
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
Josiah is going to provide that, and feel free. If you'd like to reach out to Christina, you can contact us. She's always available. If you are a widow, we're working on a book for widows. If anybody would like to help me with that, I can use some assistance, I'm sure, just to keep that moving. But on the behalf of this organization and the Lord Jesus Christ, I want to thank you all so much for being here. You guys have been with me, some of you since the beginning, and some of you are a part of my journey now, as I am a part of your journey for healing. And I couldn't do this without you all. Tammy?
Question. Christina, your business is called Rejewel. Do you have a business, or is this a website, or
no website?
A non-for-profit?
No. I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. If you go to Treva's, if you're hooked up with Treva, you could just put her page and put my name on her, you know what I mean? And my name should pop up on
Pop
her
up,
friend.
okay. Because I want to
Yeah.
look at that Rejeweled thing and see how that works. That's an awesome ministry. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Hats
we'll
off to you.
share, we'll definitely share all the contacts. And before I leave, I do want to say our Detroit chapter, Miss Cherie, she represents Detroit, Michigan, and she's been with us since 2019. So even though we don't see her face, she's definitely done events in the name of L.O.S. in the Detroit area. So we're all not from Clarksville, Tennessee. You know, there she is. We're not all from Clarksville, Tennessee. Cherise is caring for her father, who is widowed. His wife passed away, I think 4 years ago. About 4 years ago.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been taking care of Mr. Pratt and praying for him. And, you know, we thank God to have her a part. So with that being said, we're going to get off the Zoom. I want to thank each and every one of you. Have y'all enjoyed yourselves? Had a great time?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.